Now let's talk about something that's been making waves in Iraq's financial landscape. In early 2025, the Central Bank of Iraq introduced a new feature aimed at advancing the country's digital payment systems. This new system now allows individuals to transfer money directly from one debit card to another. It's a major step forward. The bank set a limit of 400,000 dinars per individual transfer, and users can send up to 2 million dinars per month. For people who have been relying on cash or other informal payment methods, this is a significant move toward convenience and modernization. This initiative is just one part of a broader strategy by the central bank to modernize financial services and encourage more people to use digital banking in everyday life. But this brings us to a bigger question. Why has so much of Iraq's economy remained outside the banking system for so long? You might be surprised to learn that around 90 trillion dinars are being kept in people's homes instead of in banks. That's an enormous amount of money not circulating through official financial channels. So why is this happening? The answer lies in trust, or rather, the lack of it. Decades of economic instability, political challenges, and banking failures have led to a culture where people are more comfortable keeping their cash at home. They feel it's safer that way. It's become normal for people to store large amounts of cash in private, avoiding banks entirely. The Central Bank of Iraq knows this is a major issue, and they're trying to reverse this trend. One way they plan to do that is by retrieving what are known as the 3-0 notes. These are high-denomination currency notes that were originally introduced during a period of severe inflation. These large notes made sense back then, but today they're part of the problem. The central bank's goal is to gradually remove these notes from circulation and replace them with lower denomination bills. Why does that matter? Because shifting to lower value notes is part of a plan that could pave the way for a new exchange rate. And if that exchange rate is adjusted favorably, the dinar could gain more value. That would mean the money people hold could potentially buy more. For example, imagine you have a 10,000 dinar note. If the exchange rate improves, that note might be worth more in US dollars than it is now. The value of your money would increase not because you earned more, but because the currency itself became stronger. Other countries have gone through similar transitions. Yemen, for instance, implemented changes that included new lower denomination notes to draw people back into the formal banking system. But here's the thing. These kinds of reforms only succeed if people trust the process. If Iraqis believe the new money will retain its value, they'll be more likely to deposit their savings into banks. That's why communication is so important. The central bank needs to make sure people understand what's happening, and more importantly, why it's happening. They need to assure the public that these changes are for the better and that their money will be safe. If the reforms work and people begin putting their money into the banking system, it could significantly improve liquidity. Banks would have more money to lend, which could support businesses, create jobs, and help grow the economy. But if people continue to be skeptical, those benefits might not materialize. It's a delicate situation that depends on building public confidence. You might be wondering how you, or the average person, can make a difference. One way is by staying informed. Talking about these changes with friends and family and engaging in discussions about economic reform can make a real impact. When more people understand what's going on and believe in the system, change becomes possible. It's not just up to the government or the central bank, it's a shared effort. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. A lot of people are hopeful that the value of the Iraqi dinar will rise. And yes, there are reasons to believe that could happen, such as economic reforms, improved oil revenues, or favorable shifts in government policy. But it's important to understand that a stronger dinar doesn't automatically mean life will get easier for everyone. Let's say the dinar does increase in value. Great news, right? Well, not necessarily. If prices for goods and services rise at the same time, the actual purchasing power of the average citizen may stay the same or even decline. Inflation is a huge factor. It can erode the gains you might expect from a stronger currency. Even if the exchange rate improves, if your salary stays the same and everyday prices go up, you're not really better off. You're still facing the same struggles, just with different numbers. This has happened in the past. Currency value remained stable, but people's financial situations didn't improve because prices kept climbing. There's also the international aspect. If the dinar gets stronger against foreign currencies, that could make imported goods cheaper. But that's not always a good thing. Local businesses could struggle because imported products might undercut them in price. That hurts domestic producers and could lead to job losses or reduced local economic activity. It's a double-edged sword. Another important piece of the puzzle is wages. If the dinar increases in value but wages don't rise alongside it, the benefits don't really reach everyday people. Many Iraqis are dealing with stagnant incomes while everything else around them, policy, prices, and currency, continues to shift. So while a stronger dinar might look like progress on paper, it doesn't automatically translate into better living conditions. The role of government can't be ignored in all of this. Their decisions can either support these reforms or make things harder for citizens. Policies that don't consider the daily realities people face could cancel out the potential advantages of a stronger currency. And let's not forget the emotional aspect. There's a lot of hope tied to the idea of a rising dinar. But if that hope isn't backed by real, noticeable change in people's lives, it can lead to disappointment and frustration. That's why it's so important to talk about this. Have you personally noticed any impact from the dinar's strength? Do people around you believe change is coming? I'd love to hear your experiences. Leave a comment and share what's happening in your community. This conversation is about more than just numbers or exchange rates. It's about people, families, communities, real lives. That's why staying informed and engaged is so critical right now. In the end, the situation with the Iraqi dinar is both complicated and deeply important for the future of the country. The central bank is taking real steps to restore confidence and create positive change by collecting the old high-value notes and replacing them with smaller ones, and by pushing for more modern payment methods. But whether those steps succeed depends on how people respond. So let's keep paying attention. Let's talk about it. And most of all, let's support the efforts that are trying to build a stronger, more stable Iraq. If you found this video informative or helpful, please give it a like, share it with someone who might care about the topic, and subscribe for more updates as the story continues to unfold. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.